The Hare and the Wildcat by Mrs. White Loon. Read by Frank Blissett. A hare was once walking along the road. Suddenly he met a wildcat. Now the hare and the wildcat had always been bad friends, for the former always fooled the latter. The hare had gone much farther away from his home than he generally did, and he had come upon the tracks of the wildcat long before he met him. On seeing him, the wildcat said, "Well, where are you going?" And the hare answered, "I am going to the place where the wrinkled face lives." The wildcat became angry, because he thought he meant him, and asked him again, "Hare, where are you going?" He received the same answer, "Where the wrinkled face lives." The wildcat then continued on his way until he came to a little stream. He wanted to drink some water, so he bent down to take some, but as he tasted it, he made a wrinkled face, for the water was bitter. Then he thought of what the hare had said, that he was going to the place where the wrinkled face lived. So he immediately ran after him. The hare, however, escaped into the hollow of a log, and after placing some marbles inside of the log, he ran out again. The marbles had been instructed to move about as soon as the wildcat looked in. The wildcat followed the hare's track and soon came to the log. He peeped in and thought he saw the hare sitting inside, so he said, "I'll get even with you now." Then he plugged the hole in the log, gathered some leaves and branches, and set fire to them. After a while he heard an explosion. "What is that exploding, hare?" he asked. "It is one of my eyes," answered the hare. After a while another explosion occurred, and the wildcat asked again, "What is that exploding, hare?" "The other eye," answered the hare. Then another explosion was heard. "What is that exploding, hare?" "My intestines," answered the hare. Just as these last words were said, the real hare, who was watching the wildcat from the distance, ran up to him and shoved him into the fire. His face was burnt, and that is why the wildcat today has a wrinkled face. That was The Hare and the Wildcat by Mrs. White Loon. Read by Frank Blissett.